Earlier this year, I discovered the Abandoned Marina, a forgotten place full of all sorts of fish that I wanted to catch. However, despite trying a variety of tactics, my only success was short-lived, losing a pike just seconds after I'd first hooked into it.
I haven't actually been back since the first film. Life's got in the way and, well, it's probably been 6 months since I was last here, so I do not know what to expect of the place. You guys left me loads of really good suggestions of how I should fish the place. Raking it to get some of the weed out, pre-baiting, a few different tactics, and they were all genius. I've just not had the time to do it. So today we're going after the pike that I lost. I was gutted when it came off the hook at the end of the last video. And so that's my mission. I'm going to catch that pike, or try to at least. I've had quite a lot of time trying to work out how I'd like to fish the place, and the main obstacle I found on the last session was the amount of weed in the marina that makes pulling any kind of a lure through the water almost impossible. Until I found this little guy. This is something called a weedless lure, which has a hook actually inside of the soft plastic that's protected from getting tangled in weed, but when a pike or predator fish wants to come and eat it, it pierces through, hooks it in the lip, and hopefully gets played back to the net. But the thing is, I've never actually used one before, so I'm going to try and practice on the way. This always used to be quite a good spot, so I'm going to start here. The thing is, when I've been here in the past, and it's been good, I've seen loads and loads and loads of roach topping. Right now, I can't see anything. Oh, I had a bite, Okay, I definitely had a bite. Well, it definitely pulls through weed pretty well, so that's a plus. Strange, it's like the place is dead. Normally you couldn't walk 2 minutes before seeing a group of roach or rudd pecking at the surface, but I've walked about a mile now and nothing. That said, I've finally found a group of baitfish just down there. Maybe there's a pike waiting for me. No, nothing. Nothing. It's so weird, it's so dead. Normally, around this time of year, I could come down here and have a couple of jacks really quickly. Like, it was just lots and lots of small fish, whereas now, nothing. Anyway, if you recognise this bridge, it's because the Abandoned Marina is, let me point in the right direction, just down there, and it's absolutely covered in duckweed. Like, there's no water down there to fish. I don't know how I'm going to fish that. My lure should still be fine, but will there even be any light for the pike to see the lure? It's also got really overgrown. Like, that was the path last year. I'm glad I'm wearing trousers. I'll say that much, shorts would hurt. There is still a path down here, actually. I think we're going to be okay. It's definitely got a little bit wilder since I was last here, that's for sure. Do I go that way? Or that way? I guess I'm going to try this way. Welcome back.
I suppose it was silly expecting the place to have remained the same. When nature takes something over, it doesn't stop, forever growing and changing, and although it seemed like my mission to catch something had become a little more difficult, it was hard not to fall in love with the place all over again.
The good news is, I think the place is still perfectly fishable. Having seen my lure cut through the water and pull out of snags and everything, even though there's loads of duckweed, oh, here comes the train.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I think the lure's going to pull through fine. My issue is there's not a lot of light left, so I'm going to go get my bed, maybe flick a worm around in the canal on the way back to see if I can tempt a perch. Get set up, make some food, and then see what light I've got left and then go from there. We just made it out of the jungle alive to realise that the rod that I have on my back, well, half of it must have fallen off and is somewhere out there, so no perch fishing for me. I think that's probably about it. I don't think the barrow's going to go any further, so I'm going to need to hide it quite well and then carry the bed in by hand. No way. No way. Ah, I found my rod, but I've snapped the tip off it. It's the little wins, you know? It's the little wins. That took some effort. I don't want to be Mr. Complain a lot, but today's just not gone like very smoothly like I thought it would. I have actually planned this session, believe it or not, for ages, but it's just not happened how I thought it would. Right, I've maybe got half an hour left of light in the sky, so I'm going to cast from the near bank, see what happens. I'm not full of expectation or hope. Let's go give it a go. Yeah, and like I said, let's see what happens. There goes nothing. Doesn't look like the lure is actually sinking, it's just caught on the duckweed. Not caught in it as in not moving, I'm able to retrieve really easily. But it's not got enough weight to actually pierce and get down. The duckweed seems like it's really thick, like there's a really thick layer, and the lure's just not heavy enough. Even when I leave it in place for quite a while, it's not getting down. I think the weed's thicker than I thought it was. This isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. But it can't be an episode of MasterChef every time I make a video. It was actually my mate Cal that told me that pretty much any microwavable ready meal that is in a supermarket, just reheat it in a pan, make sure it's piping hot, and it's pretty much as good, if not better, than the microwave. I'm not going to stop like cooking proper food on the bank. That's still probably one of my favourite things to do out here, aside from fish. But it's easy, isn't it? A fun fact about this place that one of you guys actually told me in a comment was that it's not a marina at all. It's actually something really creepy sounding called a boneyard. It's not that bad, it kind of is bad. Basically, back in the day when cattle and stuff was taken to slaughterhouses, which is not really something I want to talk about whilst eating my dinner, the carcasses and the bones were then put on boats, shipped up the canal to this place, where the bones were then ground down into bone meal, which I think is then used for like agriculture and fertilizer. And that's why it's called the boneyard. But what I've realised today is that's probably why the weed growth is just so ridiculous. Some of that bone meal must have sank down through the water column, settled in the substrate, and it just means that there's nutrients for days for all of this stuff to grow like a, well, like it is. So yeah, boneyard. So I've been hearing an owl screeching over my head for the last half hour, and that there is its house. So that's kind of cool. It's probably going to keep me up all night, but it's still quite cool.
I'd realised that maybe all my lure needed was a little extra weight to push through that top layer of the weed. And so, despite the little guy now looking a little bit deformed, I went to sleep excited, imagining all that the following day could bring.
That was a cold night. Nothing a cup of tea won't sort out though.
I think the moral to this story is the old fail to prepare, prepare to fail. These places are just so unexpected. As soon as you're on a natural venue where nature can take over, there's no knowing, even if you can get to the water, it might be overgrown like it is here. And then the water itself, it's far more dense with weed than I even remember from last time, and last time it was bad. I've added a weight to the lure to see if it might be able to sink through there, and maybe I can get it to retrieve a lot better. And if I don't catch here, I promise by the end of this video, somewhere on this canal, I will provide a fish for you, because I want one. I'm desperate to catch. Oh yeah, I chopped part of my finger off getting the drone shots this morning, so. Before I make these videos, I normally try and script out as much of it as I can in my notes app. Obviously with fishing you can't exactly determine what's going on, and that's never been more true than right here, right now, because all of those things that I'd planned, nothing has gone to plan. Nothing has happened how I thought it was. And it's easy to get frustrated and annoyed when you don't get your way and things don't go how you want them to. That's probably sound like your granddad right now. But one of the most important skills is, in those situations, still keeping your chin up, keep going. Because if you don't, you definitely won't have any success, or the good things won't happen because you've stopped before they had a chance to. I think what I'm basically trying to do is psych myself up to actually go and fish for that pike, because I really want to go home right now. So the sun's just come out, and the only thing it's illuminating is my rod and my net. Now, I'm not saying it's necessarily meant to be that I'm about to catch, but that's as good a sign as any. So, somewhere around here used to be an entrance to the other side of the marina, the other bank. Here we are. This is where I lost the pike last time. It's still not sinking. It's still not sinking. It's not penetrating below the weed. I think the weed's too thick.
It was becoming a very real possibility that perhaps I'd come all of this way for nothing.
Damn it.
It was 6 months ago that I asked the question, what lives in the abandoned marina? And frustratingly, I was slowly coming to terms with the fact that maybe I wasn't going to find out.
There's one last spot on the far side of the bank that I need to go and try out, just to see if maybe there's an open area under the overhanging trees. I'm not going to finish this video without catching a fish. There's going to be a fish of some description.
But the further that I walked, the more I realised that the access was so much worse than I could remember from last time.
I need a machete. I've reached the corner, but I don't actually think I can get all the way to the water's edge. And even if I could get down there, it's still too weedy and there's no casting room. There's like one cast I could make, and I can see from here that underneath the water it's chocker. I think I'm gonna sit down, have some water and have a think. This place might be beating me. I can't think of a way to fish it. But that's not where the video is going to end. I'm going to try and walk the way back around the marina, pack my gear, get it in the van, and then I'm going to walk the canal with a different kind of lure until I catch. I need to go home having caught a fish of some description. It's sad that my story here at the marina, or the Boneyard, has come to an end.
But that's life. Not everything goes your way, and I should probably say something about it being the journey, not the destination, or something inspirational like that. But the truth is, I simply wanted to catch a fish. Okay, maybe not from the place I intended, but I wasn't going home without a wet net. I had 2 miles of canal to play with, not a whole lot of time, but I wasn't going to give up.
think I'm gonna go GoPro only for a bit. This is slowing me down and I really want to catch something. It's not exactly the most peaceful canal in the world. Then again, it's better than Birmingham. No offense, lads. Okay, let's do this. Dear future edit Tom, I'm just going to keep rolling here. You might just need to cut all of this up into a bit of a montage, casting montage. First. This looks kind of juicy. I don't know what that was. Haven't seen any fish, have you?
No, sorry.
Oh. Now, if that's not screaming out, "Hi, I'm a pike, I live here," I don't know what is. I hope at least. Well, it's not exactly the quietest place for a chat under this bridge, but I think that is probably my pike fishing done for this session. And it's time to get my perch rod out, do a bit of drop shotting. I'll do that on the way back. And surely, I've got to be able to catch perch, right? Don't look at me like that. I don't know if you'll be able to see, but at the very end of the rod, that's what snapped earlier in the trip. And so I'm basically going to cut the end off so that I've still got an eye at the end of the rod to be able to fish with. It's not ideal, but I think it should work. Okay, well, I've got a worm on the end of my hook and about an hour till I really need to get back home. So I'm going to walk back towards the car park, visit all the spots that I've already visited, and yeah, just really hope that something decides to take the worm. Is there really not a little perch down there for me, chilling out under this barge? Oh, hello, 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 hello. Oh, yay! Oop. That was close. Almost got smacked in the face. Oh, that is a right angle. Nothing at all. Is it me or is it the canal? My plan now is just to keep walking until I see either signs of bait fish, of roach and rudd, or structure that, when I look at it, is kind of like, yeah, maybe a perch be hiding around that. I don't get it. I really don't understand why I've not had anything. I had a thought that maybe the water was too coloured, it's too muddy brown. Maybe they couldn't see the bait or the lures, but I don't believe that. I think maybe it's just not my day. And now I'm stuck in a branch. I've got one last chance. The railway bridge is down there where I had maybe a bite at the start of this video, and then if nothing happens I have to go home. I've spent too long already today. Yes! Oh my gosh, fish do exist in this canal. At least I haven't blanked. I can't tell you what lives in the abandoned marina. I don't know, I didn't find out. But what I can tell you is that fishing is incredibly annoying, frustrating, nobody should do it, but it's also extremely exciting when the right thing happens. I'm not gonna kiss you, you're a perch, but thank you for coming along and taking my worm. Yes. What a ridiculous video. What a completely stupid video I've just made.